on this episode of 10,000 Voices.
The thing about nursing is that it shoves meaning into your life. We take care of the patients that need intensive care. That's a crazy statistic to ask me. I have no idea. But no, there's not a return policy. I'm unreturnable. I was like, I'll be right outside if you did anything. Like nothing. Everything makes me cry all the time. We watched Star Trek when I was a kid because my mom wanted to watch. My dad was like, let's just watch tennis. And I'm trying to rip his head off because I want his skull. She's naked, he's not. And they jump out the window.
Hi, welcome to 10,000 Voices, a conversation with humanity. I'm Matt, and today I am joined by Emily. She is an ICU nurse and honestly a really great friend of mine. Don't smirk like that, come on. We go back way back, how long now?
15 years, 16.
15 years. It's time to upgrade friends, I think. It's a little too long.
Yeah.
Is there a return policy?
No, there's not a return policy. I'm unreturnable. I'm like, the things that you have, you know, when you like order something on Etsy and it's like custom made?
Yeah.
I am custom made to be like your anti, like, to fuck you
My
over
anti-hero.
everything.
So I'm the hero, you're the anti-hero in the story.
Well, I mean, or villain.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what is a villain?
What's a word anyway? Thank you so much for joining me today. This is, I'm so excited. You are such an interesting human. And you really are. And I think that you have an interesting story that you can kind of share with the world.
Thanks. So my cat is just wanting to take all the attention.
That is okay. Cats deserve all the attention.
Yeah, she is way prettier than I am.
What's your cat's name?
Her name's Darcy, but I don't think she knows it because I never call her that. I call her Kitten and Bitch. So one of those two things. One of the two. Hey, bitch, come here. She's like, no.
No? Kitten? Darcy?
Nothing.
So I wanted to start by talking about. So you are a nurse, but not just a nurse. You are an ICU nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about why that's different? Why ICU nursing?
So ICU stands for the intensive care unit, and an ICU nurse is a nurse that works in this intensive care unit. And what we do is we take care of the patients that need intensive care, ones that have ventilators, medications that are very life-threatening. Basically, most of the patients I have are actively dying or about to die. And there are different types of ICUs. There's like surgical ICUs, which is like gunshots, trauma, like people that are kind of like bleeding out or like in bad accidents. I'm in the medical ICU, which is like you have a disease that is progressing to the point where you're about to die and you need to, either fix it or, do the next steps, whatever it takes. You'll come to us. And we kind of like, we can help solve some, there's some diseases with cures and there's some times where there's, no other option. But either way, at end of life, you come to us and we help. Our job is to help make people better and send them off to the floor so they can like go home and be like get better. But obviously,
not everybody makes it.
No.
Do you know how many people make it versus not make it?
Absolutely not. That's a crazy statistic to ask me. I have no idea.
But that sounds really hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
I mean, like really hard. Like I could not do that. That sounds like emotionally really challenging. Do you find that, you've been doing it for how long now? I've been
a nurse for 6 years. No, I've been a nurse for 7 years. I've been an ICU nurse for 6 years. Yeah.
6 years in the ICU.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're getting better at it? Obviously you're practicing your skills, but like, do you feel like you're better at dealing with? Talk to me about how starting out in the ICU was, or starting out in nursing was, to where you are now. Talk about that journey.
So I've always sort of I've always been interested in medicine, but I've always been like pretty good with like people, and it just kind of like perfectly came to be that I knew it was going to be the medical field. When I became a nurse, I realized I was going to be a nurse because I was better at like actual hands-on stuff. Not that all doctors don't do hands-on, but most of them don't. They're kind of like relegated to the background of like looking at all the facts and trying to figure out what's wrong. And then they tell us what to do and we do the medicine and all that kind of stuff. The emergency department's a little different. They are all kind of hands-on deck. The ICU can be a little hands-on deck, but mostly like the doctors are kind of like out of it. They don't do actual like real patient care. Some of them do, but mostly not. And the ICU came about because that's why I wanted to do nursing. And the ICU came about because like medicine and it really fascinated me and complicated medical medical things, I guess. I was
Conditions?
yeah, conditions, exactly. I was just always pretty intuitively drawn towards that. So then the ICU was just a natural progression of that. I could use the knowledge that I gained to actually do that instead of like in on the floor. You're just kind of passing out meds and not because you have too many patients, so you really can't think about everybody individually. But in the ICU, you only have like 1 to 2 patients, so you're like focused.
Right.
So medically, you know what's happening, and you know what you're doing, and that's why I went there.
All right, but what about the emotional component of it? Like, how is that for you, dealing with the
Hard.
patients that die every day,
Hard.
right? I mean, you have to expect death, I assume.
It's very hard. And you kind of have the longer you do it, the more you have like, you develop a way to cope. And there's a lot of different ways to cope. A lot of people that I work with have families and they kind of have had a separation. The joke for a lot of like, nurses and teachers is that they drink a lot. I mean, obviously that's the joke, but like there's a truth in that. There's a way to cope with, you're dealing with a lot of tough things. Teachers deal with a lot of like growing kids with a lot of problems and are stressed out all the time, and nurses deal with death and it's hard. And there are things that kind of catch you. Like the things that get me still, like I've been in the ICU for 6 years, and the things that get me still that surprise me sometimes, like, when you walk in, it's going to be sad no matter what. And when we get report, we'll talk about the story, and everyone, the same thing is like, it's just, that's sad. But you keep on going. You kind of have to like shut it down. But I had a patient the other day, well, no, not the other day, I say the other day, it was probably a couple months ago, who reminded me of my mom. Like, just her personality was like my mom, and she coded, and she died, and I was just, it was horrible. Like, that kind of stuff that really gets you, or like, there's one thing that, like, it's the little things. Like, one thing that I'll never forget, this is like right at the start of COVID. I tell the story all the time. There's, right at the start of COVID, there was a patient who was dying. He had like liver disease, and like a lot of like liver cancer, liver disease patients, they have like a lot of memory issues because the ammonia building up in their brain, and they forget a lot. And his wife was a nurse, but they decided he was just in a lot of pain. We're going to do comfort care, so we were just going to like stop all of the really harsh treatments and kind of just focus on his comfort. And he's kind of going in and out of confusion, and I'm about to push, like, just a pain med, just keep him a little bit more comfortable. And in a moment of, like, lucidity, he turns to his wife and he says, I'm really going to miss you when I'm gone. And I like, was like, I'll be right outside if you need anything. Like, just burst into tears, like, if you need anything, I'll be right. The wife was like, oh, like, she was keeping it more together than I was. And it was just like, oh, yeah, that's that kind of stuff that gets you all the time.
So what keeps you going?
That's a good question.
Like, I mean, there's got to be some pluses, right? Here's some positive sides to.
I mean, I fix people. Like, I help people, and I'm like one good story about the other day. I had a patient the other day, literally maybe 2 days ago, who's in a lot of pain. She was just in a lot of pain, and I was being myself, where like I was getting frustrated with things, and like when the machines wouldn't work, I was like, fuck you. I was like being just animated, and she said to me, she goes, like, I don't, you're really distracting me from my pain. Like, I don't feel pain right now because you're really funny. And I'm just like, oh, like that kind of stuff.
You had a Patch Adams moment.
Literally Patch Adams moment. Yeah. I kind of have that all the time because I'm constantly frustrated, and apparently my frustration makes people laugh.
Wow.
And hey, that's it.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
So if you could go back through school all over again, would you still choose nursing?
Yeah, 100%. I'd still choose nursing. I don't know what else I would do.
How did you know you wanted to become a nurse?
I think when I was in high school, I did a shadow. I shadowed with people. My family knew OBGYN doctor, and so I stayed with him, like his family, and then he took me in like 3 days. We did like office visits, we did OR, and then we did like delivery. And there was one patient who was delivering who, for some reason, and this was like years ago, but for some reason, they were going to induce her, but they found some like questionable things that like she might not need to be induced. She might need a C-section for the healthy baby. She was so upset. She was like embarrassed. She was like just not having a good time because this is their first baby and that kind of stuff. And I just as a student, like I was a high school student, I sat with her, and I saw that she wasn't accepting the information he was giving her, and I just said, like, just so you know, like, this is nothing to do with who, like, this is just for your baby, to keep your baby, like, safe, and this has nothing to do with anything else. Nobody's gonna think less of you if you did, like, that. I was just saying that as, like, a high schooler.
That's really,
and then
really adult of you, mindful of you as a high school student.
Yeah, not so evil now, bitch.
I never said you were evil.
Never. You say that constantly to me all the time.
Well, we have a relationship that can support you being evil and me being good. In my world, I'm the good one, so of course I need a villain. We kind of complete each other in that way. You see?
Sure. Sure.
Sorry, continue. So you were speaking to this woman.
Yes, and then one of the nurses, like, came out and, like, said how nice I was and how that was, like, a very nice thing to do. And the doctor who I was shadowing was like, that nurse doesn't say anything nice to anybody. Like, you must have done a really good job. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was kind of one of those things that clicked, that I was like, oh, that was just a natural thing for me. So I was like, oh, it was just a natural progression of that, and just from then on.
So if you could say something right now to an aspiring student who's thinking about going into nursing, if you want to break the fourth wall right now, I know you love to do that, feel free. I mean, like, what would you say? I mean, there's obviously some ups, there's some downs, but...
Okay. The thing about nursing is that even if you're not looking for it, it shoves meaning into your life. Like, you become people's most important person in their life, for multiple reasons. Like, I am keeping a loved one alive. I am sometimes a lot of the times, the last things people see before they die. After they die, I'm the one that packs up their bodies and brings it to the morgue. It's forcing meaning and heaviness into people's lives, if you want it or not. A lot of people, that's what they do, look for meaning. Yeah. And then once you find it, awesome. But it's hard. It's heavy. But it's there, and it's important. And nursing is one of those things that is so beautiful and so wonderful. And the thing that you hear all the time when people talk about nursing is like, how amazing, how, like, wonderful, like we love these nurses. It's like, fuck you, it's hard. It's a hard job, it's a hard thing to do, but it is one of the it is one of the best things you possibly can do. You're keeping people alive, and you're gaining knowledge that can help not just you, but your family members. You're comforting people. It is a multifaceted job. I saw this one thing online years ago that was like, you are a mother. That is what a nurse is a mother. Even if you're a male nurse, even if you are in whatever field, you are a surrogate mother to that patient at that time that they need a mother the most. Even if they have one already, but you're that mother.
That's very true.
And I was like,
even the male nurses?
Yeah, 100%. Male, 100%. Because the male nurses are, especially in the ICU, I guess it depends on wherever you are, but the male nurses have a very sort of, a lot of them that I work with have a confidence and a nonchalance that is really, really good in the ICU. People are terrified. And when you go to the hospital, people are sick, but, like, you're not that sick. When you're in the ICU, you're fucking sick. Yeah. And if you have a nurse that comes in with nervous energy, that can be hard. You can feel that. And so and not every man, but a lot of men that I work with just have this kind of, like, the audacity that men have can be really nice when you're sick and you're like, oh, he's got me. Okay, he's got me. But still, there is a nurturing, motherly thing about it that even the male nurses will tell you, like, it does feel more like a mother than a father. Yeah. But you can,
What can you say to somebody who's maybe thinking about going to nursing to kind of, like, really push them over that edge?
Got it. I think, for me, all of those things online that they say, like, how rewarding and beautiful and wonderful nursing is like, so true. And if this is a pitch to get people to go into nursing, like, they don't need help, because it's a beautiful thing. Like, clearly, like, nursing is a wonderful thing to do, and those ads, not just ads, but, like, just, like, people talking about it, and if anybody even talks about nursing at all, it's wonderful and loving, and that's very true. That is what nursing is. But the thing that people don't talk about all the time is the fact that it is emotionally hard, and there's a culture, unfortunately, of, when you're a caregiver in general, not just a nurse, I'm talking a caregiver at all, like caregiving for a family member, other thing, like caring for children, there is a expected selflessness that you have, and, like, you are not allowed, like, there's a mindset that's not accurate in my opinion, but there's a mindset that you are not important, that other person is. There's nothing, you know, like, no matter how hard it is for you, it doesn't matter. You have to help that other person. And there is a mindset of, like, nursing burnout, or how emotionally hard it can be, of, like, well, they just weren't cut out for nursing then if they can't handle it. And it's like, ugh. And it's not everywhere, but it is a lot of places. And we kind of put that guilt on ourselves, especially, like, women in general like, growing up, a lot of women experiences of this idea of, like, having to perform, having to be a certain way, look a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. And if we don't hit that standard, we aren't good enough, we're not woman enough, we're not anything. Like, you know what I mean? It's very much that, and there's a pervasive thing in not just nursing, but any sort of caregiver culture of, like, if you have any sort of needs of your own, you're expected to shove those down, and those don't matter as much. And
I hate that.
It's horrible. And that's a part of, because, like, you do feel bad. Like, I'm caring for people that are really sick, and I'm doing my best, but I'm having a hard day. And it's like, you kind of, there's a guilt that happens that, like, you don't want to, like, take time for yourself.
But at the same time, if you're not doing well, or if you're not at your best self,
100%.
How can you be expected to take care of other people?
And that's a logical thing, but our emotions aren't logical.
No, they are not.
That's what it is. So that's what that guilt is. And that's the one thing that, like, I would say to people, especially new nurses, going into nursing that are brand new. You are not less of a person, you are not less of a nurse if you are having a hard time with it, emotionally. Like, it does not make you any less of a nurse. It does not make you not cut out. It, like, you can take time, you can be jaded sometimes, and that's okay. Like, and you can be constantly evolving. Like, there is also the standpoint of, like, green nurse versus jaded nurse.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can be both. You can be jaded sometimes and very sweet other times. And, like, I find myself flipping, but I'm also a Gemini, so I might just be crazy. But but yeah, that's the thing where it would be like, you are not less of a person if you prioritize your needs sometimes. That's what I would say.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Can you also tell me about something that you've done that maybe wasn't a part of your regular job duties, but that you're really proud of?
Ooh, wasn't a part. I mean, honestly, I think it's gonna be all making people laugh inadvertently, like, honestly, at work. And, like, that the lady who, you know, was saying that she wasn't feeling any pain because I was kind of being funnily, like, all over the place. I also had this recent, and I don't know what's happening, like, I don't know, like, Mercury's in retrograde or something, but I don't know any of this. I just heard of that phrase, and maybe that's what's happening to justify something's happening, where machines around me are not, like, working very well, like, just for whatever reason, especially at work. And I had a day where every single machine I touched just stopped working in ways that I had never seen, and I've been an ICU nurse for, like, 6 years. Like, weird things. And this patient was so sweet, and he was watching me just, like go crazy. And at one point I had to bring a new bed in the room, and he coined it. He said, Austin Powers it, where I went, trying to drive it in. Yeah. And I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to get it in. And, like, I got the bed in the right place, and finally we got the patient in the bed, and everything was happening. And again, I've been dealing with every machine was breaking around me. And I was like, we did it. Finally, thank God, nothing can stop us. And then all of a sudden I hear, from the fucking bed that I just put it in. And I was like, and he was laughing so hard that, like, he was like,
you probably totally brain was dead.
Literally 100%. And that's the thing. That's definitely not a part of my duties. But so many things.
But you know what? Yeah. A personable nurse or a personable doctor, a good bedside manner makes all the difference.
100%. Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says, but, you know, medicine and coming in and getting the treatment is only part of it, because I think part of it is also your attitude and how you feel. And I think that if somebody is in a happier or better headspace, I believe that helps with the healing process.
Right, and it's like a genuine headspace too, because the thing about it is like, you'll get people that come in that are very robotic and sweet and happy, and you're just like, oh, that's, you want somebody like that sees you. I think like that's all I've ever wanted in anybody is like somebody to actually genuinely see me. And people aren't like prim and proper like this. People are messy and weird, and I think that's why a lot of my patients identify with me, and a lot of family members are thrown off but identify as like, oh my god, like for a moment we're not in a hospital, we're like, you know, just talking and chilling to like, exactly. Yeah. And I think especially in the ICU that can be really refreshing because it is like, you know, there's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So like people are people.
People are people.
People are people. Okay, yeah. People are people just doing people things in the people world.
Let them be people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this. This has been like it's giving me the feels. I'm like almost wanting to cry during your story.
Don't cry. Don't show weakness.
I'm not gonna cry because then you're gonna cry and we're just gonna be crying.
No, I won't cry.
No, you won't cry. What does it take to make you cry?
So many things. Everything.
Everything makes you cry?
Nothing. Everything makes me cry all the time.
Oh, I love that. Well, maybe I can try to get some tears out of you. That's my new mission.
No, fuck you.
I was wondering, you know, obviously nursing, you know, you kind of talked about how you got into nursing, but I'm wondering, and this does not have to be related to nursing at all. I'm just wondering in general, who or what has been a major influence in your life, and how has that shaped who you are today?
Well, I mean, my mom has been a major influence in my life. I joke disparagingly that the older I get, the more I become her. And that is said with the most loving way because it's so true. She's got like a nervous, caring energy, which is like wonderful. And she's just, I don't know, she's really into, like, she's into sci-fi, she's into all this stuff. She's introduced me to just like so many things growing up. Like, we watched Star Trek when I was a kid because my mom wanted to watch. My dad was like, let's just watch tennis. And my mom's like, let's watch Star Trek and Sherlock Holmes and Doctor Who. Like, watch all this stuff. So all of my like sci-fi love and knowledge and like Lord of the Rings came from my mom. And she's really smart and really kind. And that's all I've ever really wanted to be is a smart, kind person. So, and this is her shirt. Uh-oh.
Aww, that's beautiful.
This is literally her shirt. Well, it's just like a comfort blanket. Like, when I get nervous, like, maybe I'm going to be on camera in my home for multiple people to see on the internet, possibly. I don't know. I would wear something that makes me comfortable, and this is the shirt that makes me comfortable.
Oh, I love that.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Your mom sounds like a wonderful human being, and I've actually met your mother.
And she loves you.
I know. I haven't seen her in a long time. How's she doing?
She's doing good.
Is she retired?
She's retired. She's making pottery.
Ooh, that's fun. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything that she's made?
I have lots of things that she's made. I just broke one thing that she made.
Oh, no. And now that's on the internet, so she knows.
She knows.
She does know? Okay.
No, actually not yet, but she'll I'll tell her next time I talk to her. But yeah, she makes mugs. She likes to make coffee mugs.
I love a good coffee mug.
She makes it like over there. If I can get it, but I'm gonna. Yeah. I don't want to. Not right now.
We'll take a break, and after we take a break, you can come back and we'll drink from your mother's mugs. How about that?
Oh, that sounds horrible.
No?
Just the way you said, we'll drink from your mother's mugs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Didn't mean that for any other way than I was trying to be genuine. No, that's great.
How dare you?
Yeah, and I can definitely see that as you kind of talk about like the things that your mom liked. I'm like, oh yes, this explains
everything about me.
This nerdy, wonderful ball of energy.
Yeah, and that is my mother.
That's great. What do you think that your mom like instilled any values, or both your parents? Do you think they instilled any values in you that you're younger that like you hold really tightly till today?
100%. I mean, the biggest one for me was my parents always instilled a sense of there are other people in this world and you need to like, you're not the only person here. You need to be considerate of other people. And by that, like empathy, like anytime I would say something, my mom and my dad would always be like, well, what were they feeling when you were talking to them about that? And that was always instilled in me from like the start of like, you're not the only person in this world, there are multiple people in this world, and you need to sort of like show empathy and put yourself in their place, and the whole world's not just about you. Like, that's a big thing. And very much like a loyal and stable household. Like, my parents not really gave up, but they when when they got married and they created a family, it was like, we're creating a family. Like, my dad got a job, like, got an offer for a job to be a CEO in this company in, like, New Hampshire, but we stayed in Lancaster because my mom's healthcare benefits were better and more stable for the kids. Like, that was, like, the kind of, and that was just done.
Like, prioritize family.
100% prioritize family above all else. Yeah.
That's great.
Like, that's, and just stuff like that. I remember talking to, like, friends, like, when I, like, moved out, like, in college and stuff like that, they would talk about their parents, and I would just be like, I don't know. My parents were very loving and wonderful.
I mean, I think that's really great. And I mean, I also came from a really loving family as well. So I recognize that that's a privilege, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody grows up, unfortunately, with either any parents or loving parents. And sometimes it's, you know, on the worst end of it, traumatic experiences in childhood. So,
Definitely.
you know, I think that's really wonderful that, you know, you have parents that, you know, love you and instilled such great values in you. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. I literally, when I was a kid, I would have, like, angsty things of, like, my mom said this to me or my dad didn't let me do anything. And I was like, oh, that was the only thing. Like, it was just one of those things of when I met people who, you know, had any sort of, like, trouble with their parents at all, I was like, I realized how wonderfully loving my parents were, and, like, very sweet and kind to the emotional roller coaster that is me of just like, oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, they're great. My mom's a sweetheart.
That's so beautiful.
Actually,
you know, I wanted to ask you, just because that just brings me such joy. I wonder, is there a memory either from your childhood or young adulthood or even more recently, just a memory that you have, and I know this is going to sound really like general, but is there a memory that every time you think about it, it just brings a smile to your face?
A memory. That's such a hard thing to, like, a memory.
Yeah, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind is, like, of my family.
Doesn't have to be family. Or so you're saying the first memory is your family?
I know. I mean, I literally, like I don't know, a lot of things, like, make me laugh. But, but since we're talking about family, like, the first thing that, like, comes to mind of my family is, oh my god, I forget what it was. Oh my god, we were going up to Buffalo, and my parents are, like, when they're packing and leaving for something, it's like, it's crazy, like, all hands on deck, and my brother is just, I now remember what it is. Okay, my brother is just, like, dealing with the chaos that is them and everything, and my and my dad comes to my brother and says, "Are you ready? Like, do you have everything?" And he's like, and he doesn't have everything ready yet. And he goes, "God, you're so inconsiderate." And my brother goes, "You crop dusted me the other day. I'm inconsiderate?" And I was like, yeah, because my dad does that a lot.
On purpose?
On purpose. Well, I don't even know if it's on purpose, actually, but he'll just, like, he just crop dust people.
That's amazing.
But he did it to Christopher on purpose, and my brother called out. That's one of the, I still think about that. Him coming back with, "You're so inconsiderate," and my brother, like, coming back with, "You crop dust me on a regular basis." And I was like,
well said. Well said.
My brother's really hilarious. And he's a Scorpio, so he's, like, quiet hilarious. And he's also a pain in the ass and horrible. But
brother's Scorpio and you're a Gemini, right?
Yes.
You're a true Gemini, aren't you?
I am, yes, I'm a Gemini sun and Gemini rising and a Leo moon, which means chaos, but look at me, it doesn't look great. Like,
chaos is a good look on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only look on me, apparently.
Do you identify with that personification of a Gemini at all?
Yes, I mean, 100%. I view astrology as, like, astrology's bullshit, but why are all Geminis like that? Like, that's it. Like, it's that kind of fun thing of, like, it could all be fake, but, like, is it though?
I think what's mostly important is, like, if you can see yourself in a system like that, whether it be Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, whether it be astrology, if you can find something in there that's useful, relatable, and help you to identify something about yourself that maybe you didn't really recognize before, and then you can point to that and be like, that's me. This other stuff's maybe bullshit, but that's me to a T, and if it can help you understand yourself, then why not? Plus, it's fun.
I mean, it was one of those things of, so I found out I was a Gemini sun, Leo moon, and I read a description that I was like, I read this description that said, melodrama was invented by a Gemini sun, Leo moon, and I was like, how dare you? And I was like, okay, this is too much.
It's too spot on.
It's too spot on.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. It's too accurate, and it sometimes scares me. But my brother is a Scorpio. I'm a Gemini. My mother is a Taurus, and my dad is a Pisces.
Oh, so you're all kind of all over the place.
Kind of, and I describe it as my mom is a rock, and my dad and my brother are the rivers flowing opposite directions over top of her, and she's just trying to like get out, and I'm in the air like hi, like that's our kind of family dynamic.
So what do you think I am?
You're a Capricorn. I know you're a Capricorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is what I am. Did you know that because of my birth date, or just because of my personality?
Well, I knew because of your birth date, but
Okay.
it helps. Yeah, I have another friend of mine.
So, but I'm January 18th, which is I know that there's
You're a cusper?
I'm on the cusp where I know some people it goes what's after Capricorn? It goes to Aries, I think.
No, not Aries. Aquarius.
Aquarius. Mm-hmm. So would you say I'm more based off of your knowledge of me?
More Capricorn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about me that?
Capricorn, okay, and I am not an expert in any of this, by the way. I know the signs that I know, and I only know them via memes, so don't take any of this as
so I'm
any
about
sort
to
of...
become a meme?
100%.
Okay.
But Capricorns to me are like structured fun. Like they love to do structured fun, but they like you have fun. Like they love... Like, the meme about Virgos is that they're very organized kind of thing, but, like a Capricorn will, like, organize and structure.
So
but
when I
like,
hosted my murder mystery party.
Exactly.
Structured fun.
Structured fun, but, like, we'll go all out. Like, the Capricorn will, like, you will schedule a time for fucking ruining people's lives. It's that kind of stuff of, like that type of, like, fun.
I do enjoy chaos.
Yes. Structured chaos is is very, very much your vibe. Very much what I think of when I think of Capricorns that I know.
Oh, that's great. I think it's fun, and it's also just like kind of fun to have these kind of conversations.
Oh,
about,
yeah.
Oh, you are this way, and I think what's great is when other people like point something at you, and you're like, really, is that true about me? And then you're like, has anybody ever pointed something out to you, and you were like, oh, I didn't know that about myself.
That I was evil. Apparently.
Not the evil. Just in general, it's like, is there anything you're like, I didn't know I did that, or I didn't recognize that about myself?
I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty neurotically self-aware, I guess, about things. But I was pointed out to by basically my little sister, like a family friend, or like we grew up together, that I am slowly turning into my mother. Like my mannerisms and the way that I talk, the way that I laugh is very much my mom. And that I was like, oh god, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And then I'm slowly seeing this all the time of like, yes, I'm definitely turning into my mother, which is a great thing. I mean, I'm happy about it, but it is. I didn't know how severe it was.
But now you're accepting of that.
Accepting of that, of course. I mean, who doesn't love Manhattans and sci-fi? Like,
it sounds like a great combination of me. Oh, that's wonderful. I want to shift gears a little bit and move away from jobs and family, and I want to talk about more you. I want to dig into you.
Me.
And so I was wondering, what is a hobby that you really enjoy doing in your free time? And what draws you to it?
Murder. No.
Well, I don't know if you should talk about that on film.
No. Yeah, that's for After Dark.
Yeah,
that's the After Dark.
The After Dark edition, yeah.
No, Dungeons and Dragons, like obviously.
Dude,
you're
speaking my language.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Dungeons and Dragons is a role-playing game that I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, I like to tell stories. I like characters. I kind of fell into it via, I think, the pandemic. Like, the pandemic, and, like, I was introduced to, like, these shows and stuff, and I saw all of these, like, shows. Dimension 20 is, like, a big one, and Critical Role, of, like, the clips on that show being, like, so funny and so crazy.
God, they are. Yeah, they are.
And I was like, oh, this is what this is? Like, this is characters? Like, you can do anything? And then once I found out that you could do anything, I was like, well, this is amazing. And I love creating characters. It's, like, a big thing of, like, I like to do, like, what character do I want to do right now and create it. Like, for example, we have a campaign that's about to start right now where our friend, our DM, he decided that, like, all of our characters have to be, you pick a song. And that song is your character. Like, take anything out of the song you want to as you will, but, like, that song's your character. And I picked Mr. Sandman. And my character is it's like, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. My character's the dream. And I'm a warlock. My patron is a Sandman, and he's a dick. He's really bad. I was like Tywin Lannister. Like if Mads Mikkelsen played Tywin Lannister, like that's what I want.
Okay.
And
yeah.
like hot evil daddy patron. Like that's.
So what's your character's name?
Her name is Galatea. In Greek mythology, Galatea was. Do you know?
I don't.
Oh, so
I love Greek mythology. I don't know Galatea.
So Galatea was the creation of Pygmalion. Pygmalion, if you've seen My Fair Lady, you know. So Pygmalion is some dude in Greek mythology who he wasn't just a misogynist, he was a misanthrope. He did not like anybody. Didn't like people, didn't like anything. And he created the statue of this woman so beautiful, and he fell in love with it. And Aphrodite goes, I got you, bitch, and made her, and turned the statue to life. The minute she became a person, he was like, fuck you, what's this? I don't love you anymore.
Because she wasn't perfect anymore.
Because she wasn't perfect anymore. And so I was like, this is, and without revealing, because I have friends and we haven't played this game yet. Okay. That's a very important part of my character.
Is you've got some secret things happening.
We're keeping secrets from each other, which is amazing, and I'm so excited.
Oh, I love that.
I'm so excited. My one friend is doing Jolene. And she's going to be, I know!
I can't wait to come back and maybe we'll have a part 2 on this where we talk about how this campaign's going.
I'm so excited about this. It's going to be, and this is going to be my first character where I'm going to actually play like naive, which is going to be hard for me because I'm a lot of things. Naive is not one of them, but it's going to be fun. I'm trying to like actually get out of, because all of my other characters were like spot on. Like this last game, I played a necromancy wizard who, was based off the kid from The Sixth Sense. So what if the kid from The Sixth Sense who saw ghosts when he was a kid was like, oh, magic is real. I'm going to become a necromancy wizard. Duh. How do you pay for wizarding school? Of course, because wizards, canonically, it's expensive to be a wizard. You do a ghost hunting business, of course. And you bust ghosts, and you make money and do that, and then you become a necromancy wizard. And I love the idea of her magic being like really dark. Like my Misty Step was hands, like skeletal hands came out of the ground and pulled me under, and I popped up somewhere else. My dimension door was like a tomb door, like in New Orleans, like the door would appear and like you would go in like a tomb above ground, and like that kind of stuff. But my personality was like, hi, like I'm Nina, like
so upbeat.
It was it was like dusty, dirty. It looked like when I would do magic, it would look like my hands were covered in like
you realize dirt. That this is kind of a metaphor for your own life, kind of upbeat in the face of death.
Literally, yes. Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong?
No, you are completely on. It is hauntingly accurate. And I do realize when I am... didn't mean to do that, but I did. I realize, like, as I'm making these characters, it's fully, like, a form of therapy for me, unfortunately, that I'm...
Or fortunately.
Fortunately, I guess. But, like, I inadvertently solve a lot of things with these characters. So I think with this new character, I'm approaching the concept of autonomy, which I find very interesting and like hard to sort of grapple in my life. So
I love that though.
Yeah.
Well, that you can use that for your own benefit. I mean, obviously it's for fun too.
Oh, so much fun. I mean, my last one of my favorite things that happened in the last campaign was there was like a girl. So there was a girl who was dating a douchebag. We killed the douchebag. She comes to, and I'm trying to rip his head off because I want his skull. And I do a strength check. I fail the strength check. I can't rip off his skull. And she's just like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. And I try to rip it off again. And I get it the second time because I rolled better.
Way to go.
But it was a beautiful like moment of craziness that only happens in D&D.
And that's kind of what I always enjoyed. And I've been both a DM and a player. But honestly, it's the fun around the table. It's the laughing. Like when something ridiculous happens and you roll and you get like either a critical failure or a critical success, and just like something ridiculous happens and shenanigans ensue, and then you just laugh about it, and then now you've created memories like these like gut like you're just like laughing from your gut, like belly laughing,
crazy.
And you just have a good time and you create memories with these people.
Yeah. And
it's just the entire experience is what I love about it.
It's so much fun. And like our group that we have here, like our Philly group, we do. Every session is at everyone's house, and we make dinner and do a whole, like, it's so much fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
You rotate through different houses?
We rotate through all of our houses, yeah.
Oh, that's such a great, then you just create a whole experience around it. What's better than food, friends, and games? Well,
I drag my friends into this. I was like, I'm into this now, and I'm going to make it everybody's problem. Although they wanted to do it. Like, I'm not dragging them unwillingly, but I was like, I'm into this one thing very very, very intensely, and they're like, okay, let's do it. Yes.
Do you have like a favorite moment from one of your campaigns that you can share?
So I think there's a bunch of favorite moments. There was there was one that was really funny. So, my one friend who was playing this character, she was trying to seduce like a bimbo, a beautiful bimbo,
Yeah.
and she was seducing her, but trying to find some information because her dad's like was really like important or bad or whatever. So she was like seducing her and trying and snooping around. And another one of our party members was invisible and followed her into this and like inadvertently was just like in the other room when she was having sex with this woman, and then they both jump out the window because she figures out they're snooping.
Yeah.
And it was just the whole like at the table we're all like, what the fuck is going on? And they like the idea of them jumping out the window of this like high-rise apartment after like they're naked. Well, she's naked. The joke was that they're both naked, but she's naked, he's not, and they jump out the window.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, it was really, really funny. It was a perfect like crazy another perfect crazy D&D thing that's like very specific. And my one friend gets like really into the thing of like the story of like anytime there's a new, I think she's like a perfect player in the sense of like there's something like an object to focus on. She goes, what is it? I'll go right, and we're like, oh my god, wait, hold on, and she's like walking straight into everything.
Hey, that can lead to some really fun times.
It does. It really, really does. It really does. So the dynamic around the table is really fun.
Yeah.
But,
oh
yeah.
man, when I mention D&D, a lot of people, you get a lot of mixed reactions.
Yes.
You get, of course, like that's for nerds, whatever. I mean, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
But we're
Come
nerds
join
who
the
know how to
club.
fun. Yeah, right?
Come join the club. There are hot nerds too.
But I don't know. I think that I always like to tell people that it's an opportunity to, just have fun with your friends. But also, I think another challenge people have is like they're like, oh well, I'm not creative. I can't. I'm not a creative person. I can't play D&D because I don't have an imagination. I think that. Well, one, I think that's bullshit. I think everybody can be creative,
Yeah.
and I think everybody has an imagination, and I think some people get so, they get so serious in life, and they don't have fun anymore, and people like just they go to their job, they come home, they watch Netflix, they go to bed, and it's like I think sometimes people need an outlet to be able to get back to that childhood curiosity,
100%,
and to find that creativity again.
You do, yes. The one thing about D&D though is that you have to sort of accept what you're doing. The only thing is like if you're a D&D player, if you're playing D&D and just like don't want to play it and like don't want to accept that like you're in like a fake the narrative of it, then that's the only time you're not having fun. But anytime you do that and accept that like, okay, this is what we're doing and like you're into it, you can do anything. And you also, there's so many rails that you can put on or take off. That's what I like about it. Like if you don't know what to do, just like start with like a generic thing and then twerk it to like something that you would like.
Or ask, can I do this?
My first character ever, when I first played the first time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I literally was just, all I did was I watched other like people play. So I was like, like shows and stuff. So I was like, I don't know what the hell to be. And then I just decided, I was like, I want to be like a femme fatale. Like I wanted to be like Gilda. Like when she like goes in and she goes, oh, I'm changing, like that kind of stuff. So that's what I built the character around.
Flair.
Completely over the top. I was a bard, obviously. My bardic inspiration would like wink at people, and I was like flirting with everybody. And I was an alcoholic, and if I didn't drink enough at a certain time, I'd have to roll down. It was really fun. I would get like disadvantage and stuff if I wasn't constantly drinking, which was great because we had an artificer who created a flask that was like never ending, and I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I literally was like, hello to that person, and I was
yeah,
like, can I have just a little drink? It's really fun. And it's just fun to do, But
yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, it's a great time. I love D&D.
Do you have any advice for anybody trying to get into D&D for the first time?
Trying to get into D&D for the first time. So for me, it would be like, well, why do you want to get into D&D and focus on that? Like, are you into the community? Because great, the community's awesome. Are you into like creating a story? Like, get into the story. Like, there's very many angles you can do from it, and like. The hard part about it is like finding a DM. If you are a player and have never played and want to find a DM, there are, especially nowadays, like with all of it popping up in social media and like being really popular, there are a lot of groups popping up locally in a lot of different places of people just like wanting to play D&D.
And online too.
Mm-hmm.
If that's more your thing. I personally like it in person a lot more than online, but there's
first one I did was online.
Yeah. We started a regular in-person campaign in January of 2020.
Oh.
And then a few months later, the entire world shut down. So we ended up shifting right into using Roll20 online, which was a great
that's what we use too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's it was definitely nice to do that and have something, especially like it's just the internet and the access to it.
Yeah.
A lot different.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's great.
Please.
All right. Speaking of people things, do you like to read?
No, I don't like to read. I think it's evil, and I think no. Of course, I like to read.
I wanted to ask you, what is either the book that you've gifted the most to other people, or that you've recommended the most to other people?
A Cabinet of Curiosities.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Now I have a recommendation.
So, A Cabinet of Curiosities by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. Again, my mom recommended to me, of course. It's a series. It's like the Pendergast series. It's one of I think it's the third one in it. And Douglas Preston finished Michael Crichton's last book after he died. And did his brother write The Hot Zone? Somewhere but like, you know, sciencey kind of like thing. But it's a thriller. It is about in New York City there's these builders or whatever, you know, but they unearth like they break down an old building, and in it they find a bunch of bodies, like a charnel house, and like crazy amount of old bodies from like hundreds of years ago or 100 years ago, whatever. So they take the bodies to the Museum of Natural History, and this archaeologist is like kind of going through, and she's studying them, and she finds out that they all died the same way. Their spines were pulled out of their bodies while they were alive, and the same murders start happening now in New York City.
Oh shit!
And so this FBI agent is called in, and it's a murder mystery. It's really great, and it's really well written. I recommend it a lot. I like it a lot. It is one of my favorite of the series, definitely, that got me into that one. And anything Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton, I love him a lot. I know he's a misogynist and he cannot write women. I do not want to speak ill of the dead. I think he's a misogynist, but like a misogynist in the way of like, oh honey, like he just didn't know women. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing, I don't think it was anything like he
was
meant.
probably a product of the society.
Exactly. Like, and he just didn't know how to write women, so he's like, I just won't. And I'm like, okay. But I love Michael Crichton. Like Jurassic Park is one of my favorite books and movies. And I like that they're very different too.
Would you say that's your favorite genre then?
Genre of book?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like
is it the murder mystery that
thriller and anything thrilling.
What are you reading any good books right now?
Well, I'm started The Secret History. I haven't read it yet, but A Secret History is what I started, and I heard it was very good. It's a murder mystery.
Of course. Yeah.
I also read Six of Crows, which is really good. I also have recommended that a lot recently. It is like a heist kind of thing.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's a heist book. It's written by this woman who she did Shadow and Bone.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the Crows in the Shadow and Bone series. It's the Six of Crows. Yeah. It's
so cool.
It's so good.
That.
When they came in the series, I was like, oh my god. I was so excited. I was like, I don't care about this girl. I don't care about her.
Give me more
I want the
Crows.
Yeah. Oh my god. I love it.
I actually didn't catch the second season yet. Lynn and I started going back and watching the second season.
Right.
And I think I had forgotten so much that had happened in the first season.
Right.
Because my memory's terrible. And so I was like, I think we need to go back and rewatch it. So still haven't gone back.
You gotta read the book. You gotta read the book. Especially for like the Crows. The Six of Crows. Because the Six of Crows book is like it's set in the future kind of thing. Like it's because all the story of Shadow and Bone happened, and then this set in the future, and then in the show they just kind of like combine it happening like side by side. Yeah. And it's well done. I mean, it's very, very similar to the show. That like as a fan of the book, I was excited, but like the thing that kind of pissed me off is that it wasn't by itself. Like you just got snippets, and I wanted it all to be the Crows.
Gotcha. On that note, do you have a favorite TV show of all time?
Oh God,
it's a hard question.
It's a very hard question. I was a Lost girl. I loved Lost.
Yeah, you were. I couldn't get into it.
I remember
in college you were into Lost.
Oh yeah, Saeed is my man. I love him. I love him so much.
So all time, you think?
Of all time? No, I don't know. Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or if you can't answer that, what show could you rewatch unlimited number of times?
I mean, I like Psych a lot too. What do I find myself rewatching a lot? Firefly.
Ooh,
I rewatched
classic.
a lot of Firefly. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like, I'll rewatch Star Trek: The Next Generation a lot.
Mine's gotta be. Have you seen The Expanse?
So I watched the first episode of The Expanse. The idea of like them being in space and then when they come back, like the gravity's too much for their body.
Yeah.
Freaks me the fuck out. I love it. Like, I saw that and I was like, I hate it. Oh my god, I want to see more of the show. I just didn't.
It's great. It's I love the whole dichotomy between like Earth and Mars and them being in this like almost like civil war, but like it's almost like Cold War because they're not really like nobody wants to fire the first fight.
Yeah.
And Earth is obviously got a bigger army and they've been around a lot longer, but Mars has become so technologically advanced and they've split off from the Earth and they're kind of like their own independent colony.
Ooh.
And then outside of that, you've got all these people who are born and live like in the asteroid belts and like live in the solar system. So those are the people like are really low gravity.
Space is terrifying.
And it is terrifying. But they kind of work the space and they actually haul ice to get water for all the planetary systems and all of the like space stations and everything like that. Ooh. So like you've got all of this like wartime politics happening, but then an existential crisis happens that kind of forces everybody to kind of have to either work together or continue to fight amongst themselves.
It's aliens.
And it just, the story like really takes like an awesome turn. And it really captures me.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. That's definitely on the list of like a lot of things, but like I definitely want to like, I love that idea. Like it very much kind of gave me Battlestar Galactica vibes.
I can see that.
I love Battlestar Galactica too. That was a great show. I like a lot of television shows. Doctor Who, of course.
Are you caught up on Doctor Who?
No, I can't.
You can't get onto the new Doctor Who.
Okay, I have very, very, very strong opinions on Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, but he's out.
I know he's out.
So
but I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Although the fact that Jinx Monsoon is on it, I'm like, oh my fucking god, I love Jinx Monsoon. She's my favorite queen. I'm so excited. So I might actually start watching it because of Jinx Monsoon.
Okay, all right.
And the fact that Jinx Monsoon's on Broadway, oh my god, she was on Broadway. Did you?
I didn't know.
She was in Chicago. She was in Chicago. She was the mama of the prison in Chicago. Which again, I'm a musical theater girly, but like there are a couple of noted gaps in my musical theater knowledge that's highly embarrassing, and Chicago is one of them. I only just recently saw it, so I'm like, but the fact that she was in it was exciting.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
So we've talked about a lot of interesting things today. I was wondering if there's... Well, I thought they were interesting. I don't know if you thought they were interesting.
Yes, they were very interesting.
Is there anything you wanted to share? Anything that maybe we didn't talk about that you're really passionate about?
I guess so. I mean, a big thing that I love is, I'm an internet girl. I'm on the internet all the time, especially YouTube. I love YouTube. And
now you're going to be on YouTube?
No, I'm not. Hey, guess what? Don't want to think about that. Hey, what is that? Is that a camera?
No, it's not.
Is that a camera?
Just me and you. We're just
How
having a
dare
conversation.
You?
You didn't know we were recording?
We're
not recording. No.
We're not? Okay.
Anyway, so YouTube.
I love YouTube. I love, it's basically like, how back in the day you turn on the TV and for me it's YouTube. There's especially a lot of creators that like I love to watch. Brittany Broski is one of them. She's like newer in the past like 4 years or whatever. Jenna Marbles is my girl, and then she left the internet, which is fine. I'm only slightly devastated, but I'm happy that she's happy. Brittany Broski, I have so many of them, but Brittany Broski, Khadijah is a good one too. She is very much she said something, she just talks about like culture and people that talk about different things. Reads with Cindy is really good. I'm literally like ContraPoints. Oh my god, ContraPoints is amazing. Philosophy Tube, Horses, which I love horses. It's just like, and I love the name of a channel being Horses. It's just fucking amazing. He does video essays.
That's great.
Not about horses.
It's just
there's never a horse.
That's great.
But it's a perfect name. And there are other wonderful YouTubers that I'm blanking on right now. But anytime a ContraPoints or a Philosophy Tube video comes on, it's like first watch. Like that's what's gonna happen.
You mentioned Dimension 20 earlier.
Dimension 20, right? They have Dropout. I am a subscriber to Dropout because I love anything that Dropout has. But Dimension 20, Critical Role.
Critical Role.
I do love Critical Role. But I'm all over YouTube. Well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, because it's a lot of fun.
Well, it is a lot of fun. I think it's what I think is amazing about it is that you get real people having real conversations, doing funny things, or doing silly things, or telling a story, or playing a game,
right,
or streaming, like whatever it is. You get people all over the world, and you don't need to have a $1 million media company budget to do anything. You just need a phone, and yourself,
right,
and you can put content out there.
And it's also like different perspectives. Like I love the idea that these people are just kind of talking but it's different perspective of things that I never would have like heard unless I was like kind of on the internet. Like I have a list of YouTubers that I casually just mentioned, but I have a list of a little more comprehensive that 100% will send to you.
Oh, please do.
Of people that I just think have a lot to say in a way that's respectful and interesting, and different potentially than definitely different than what I grew up with. And I just like to hear them speak and are entertained by what they have to say, no matter what it is.
I think that's beautiful. And honestly, that's kind of one of the things that I am trying to do with this series is that, so I'm wanting to change the world. And I know that sounds like the ramblings of a madman, but I want to make an impact on this world. It does. And it is mad. And you know what, that's good, because I think we need more mad people in this world.
Oh, 100%. But it'd be boring without them.
But here's the thing. I can't do that with my voice alone, because what I have to say and what I have to share isn't going to resonate with everybody.
100%.
It's not, because we're all different. You've got
cis
Geminis and you've got Capricorns.
We need more cis white men.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. We need more people like me telling the world what to do.
Exactly.
But I'm passionate about hearing other people's stories, and it doesn't even matter what they're talking about or what they're doing. I like hearing other people share what excites them, what brings them to life, what their passions are, what their hobbies are, what their interests are, where they got to, how they got to where they are today.
Because I do know this about you.
Well, and it's just fascinating, and I think that the world can really benefit from hearing other people's stories, because the name of this series is called 10,000 Voices, A Conversation with Humanity, and that's really what it is. It's about, I want to have a conversation with 10,000 different people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, genders, different professions, because I think every single one of them has something unique and interesting to share. And if even one person can connect with your story,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for you, but I know. But in all actuality, I think that you have a message that will resonate with some people, and you can tell your story in only a unique way that only you know.
Yes, frazzled and confused and
But you know what? There's some frazzled and confused people out there who are thinking about going into nursing, or that have a job that they think is really hard, but maybe they looked at it in a really negative light. And they were like, after listening to you speak, maybe they're like, wow, maybe there is more to life that I can, maybe I can look at the silver lining.
There is more to life than just your job. 100% there is more to life than just your job.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
And maybe you live to play D&D, or maybe you live to hang out with your mom and watch sci-fi, or just sit on YouTube, whatever it might be. And I think that there's just...
all of those things.
Exactly, and that makes you a whole person. You're not just a nurse.
Mm-mm.
That's not who you are. And that's kind of, the shtick of this whole series is that, in the title I'm going to say A Conversation with a Nurse. But you are not just a nurse. You are not just an ICU nurse. You are such a whole person, and I think that you have such an interesting story to share with the world. And I thank you so much for sharing that story. I really do.
You're welcome.
And I know that was hard for you.
Yeah, that makes me feel
violent.
A
little fun little tie-through that we're going to do in this series that I thought about.
Ooh, exciting. Tell me.
Yeah.
Lay it on me, brother.
Without knowing who the next person
I'm
is,
sorry.
without knowing who my next guest is.
Oh, yes.
I want you to ask an appropriate, semi-appropriate question.
You know me too well.
Keep it
perfect.
Yep. Give me a question for the next guest that they have to answer.
Put me on the spot. Oh God. Okay. I have a good question. What is something? Should I direct it to the
You can
camera?
direct it at them.
Okay.
Come on, Deadpool.
Oh.
Break the fourth wall.
Oh.
No?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I was like, oh my God. First I didn't get that reference. I was like, okay. Never mind. I hated all of that. Sorry.
That is okay.
Anyway. Okay. What is one thing that is a guilty pleasure to the point of maybe only 2 people know about it, but you love to do it, eat it, see it, whatever it is, but a guilty pleasure that you don't tell anybody except for the closest people in your life.
And now they're about to tell the whole world.
Yeah, exactly. People have multiple. You don't have to give me the deepest, darkest one.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you for a guilty pleasure. I've got so many of them.
We'll save that for another time.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Emily, so much. It was really great. Had a great conversation.
Oh God, we're gonna hug.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Oh, I love you so much.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of 10,000 Voices. All recommendations from this episode can be found in the video description below. If you'd like to be our next voice, shoot us an email or hit us up on Discord, and we'll see you in the next episode.